Welcome to the lecture 2. I am Govind Bajpai and today we'll dive into the basics of Python. Let's get it started. So we have a couple of things on the agenda today. We'll start with the Python syntax overview, and then we'll cover variables and data types in Python, basic operations, input and output, conditional statements, and then I have a little very cute exercise for you for to practice. So starting with the Python syntax overview, in Python, the indentation is very crucial. So with indentation, we show which lines of code belong together. So we use spaces or tabs to show which lines of code belong together. And we use columns in Python for uh, any applying any condition, any loops, or while defining any function, whatever you have to write like together everything. So you have to use column for that. For comments, uh, we use hash or pound symbol for writing comments. Comment means like if you write uh, anything and you don't want that line to be executed, you can use the comment. And there is a shortcut in Visual Studio Code to apply comment on any selected lines. So you press Control and the division key. So Control plus divide key, and all those lines will be commented. Unlike in any other programming language like C, we have to terminate the line by semicolon. But in Python, it's a very cool language, so you don't have to terminate anything like you don't have to put any termination any symbol there. You just like write and it's terminated by itself. All right, so then like just showing you one example. If true, then print indented code, then print. This is a separate statement. So like after the colon, there's some space in the next line, and then some writing some code here. So basically, that means is if this condition is true, then whatever you write inside this statement would be executed, and if you keep the spaces consistent like the same and write a couple of lines under that, all those would be considered a block of code and will be executed if the condition is true. And if you put something outside that indentation, that would be executed. That will not be treated with the with the upper lines that you used some indentation. So they will be treated differently basically in Python. For variables and data types, we have variables that store values, and in Python, the variables are dynamic type. So dynamic typing means you don't have to define the type of variable while you declare it. In Python, the type of variable is determined during the runtime. And that by the type of variable I mean is like there are various data types like integer, floating point numbers, strings, booleans. So so if one variable can have any of these data types, and you don't have to determine there the type while you declare it. You just like let's say age is equal to 25 and you assign some integer, and later in the code you change it to the float or string or boolean. So you can do that in Python. The type of the variable is determined using the runtime. So showing some example here, like age is equal to 25, height is age is equal to 25, that means it's integer. Height is 1.75, that means it's float. Name is equal to Alice. Alice is in the code, so it's string, and Boolean is either true or false. The Boolean data type is a string, true or false, something like that. For basic operations, we have in Python like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and then three very special that I like very much. Uh, the floor division, the modulus, and the exponential operation. So floor division returns the closest integer value after division. So let's say if you divide 10 by 3, so 3.33 is the closest integer value. The lowest one is 3. So we return the 3. Comparison operation, so for let's say comparison equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, we have some comparison operators. And for logic operations, like we have three logic gates: and, or, not. A and B, A or B, or not condition. We can apply all those three logical operations as well. Let's say if you take x is equal to 3, x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 3, and let's say print x plus y, it will add those two numbers and print x into y, would do multiplication, x divided by division, x mod, and sorry, the floor division 3, x mod y 1, x exponential y would return x raised to power y, that means 10 into 10 into 10 would return 1000. For the next thing is for the input and output. So we have two functions. Now one, let's say print. Print shows some message on the console. It's output, shows you some output. Input is a function which takes the input from the user. So if you write input, and then it will wait for you to enter anything, and it would be read into the variable that you define. And whatever you input from your terminal comes in the string format. So you have to be very careful uh, uh, with the data type here. So let's say the name is okay. So name is the string format, but for the age, if you enter your age, or then that has to be in the integer format. So you have to convert that to the integer. So that's why it's integer written here, right? And for the conditional statements, like we have conditions like if else, right? So we can apply those conditions, like if I'm showing the little code here, age is equal to 18, and age is equal to 18. If age is less than 18, then it will print like whatever you write inside this is um, under that indentation, under that block. So if age is less than 18, print your minor. If age is equal to 18, it would come inside this block, print your adult. Else print, sorry, print you just became an adult, and else it would print you are an adult, right? So similarly, like uh, we can apply these conditions. If any of these conditions is true, it would execute that statement, like the block of the code that you write inside that indentation to execute that. All right, now it's time for some hands-on. Let me share my other screen and let's see. So this is my the screen, and here, let me comment. So I have wrote the code that I showed there in here, so we can go step by step. So I'm uncommenting this section and uncommenting. Use You can toggle between comment and uncomment by selecting these particular lines and hit Control plus division, this, and then you can either comment or uncomment that particular code. So so showing just the example for indentation. So if I'm starting the false condition, so if false, print indented code, print something, and this, and print this is a separate block of float. So if false, then it will not execute these lines, it will execute the last line. So we can do Python and then file name and run. So it printed, oh, I think I didn't say, sorry about that. Here, and this is a separate block of code. So it printed this last line here, right? And if we turn the condition to true, then if I run again, so it printed everything like indented code, print Govind, this, all these lines. So these lines are at some indentation, so they are considered to be one block of code. And if this condition is true, then only these lines are executed, otherwise all the rest lines will be executed. Right? I think it's good enough for the for explaining the indentation. And for one thing, for comment and uncomment, so control plus division is key, and then you can comment or uncomment the selected lines. Now let's go to the variables and data types. So like this. So let's say age 25, height 1.75, name Govind. This is student true. Uh, so integer, float, string, and boolean. And we can check the type, data type of these variables by this function type. Let's say if I want to check what's the type of this height variable, and we can just run this. It printed the type of height variable is float, so we know it's a float variable. So let's say if we change to the name, for example, the name variable is this, and if I run this, it's a string. We know it's a string, right? So you might have seen like I am executing this program Python in session2.py, something like that, right? You can, in Visual Studio Code, you can also execute this code from the play button in the right corner, top right corner there. So I executed it from here, and it printed the name of the type of name variable is string. Yeah, right? Yeah. Let me uncomment, control plus division key. Now let's go to the mathematical operations, arithmetic operations here. We'll select these lines and control this and comment. So I took uh, these variables x is equal to 10, y is equal to 3, and I've shown here addition, multiplication, division, floor division, mod, which returns the remainder, uh, and the exponential. So let's see, let me run it. Okay, so it returned addition 13, multiplication 30, division, and then floor division, and then modulus and exponential. So working, right? Very good. Let me clear the terminal. Okay, so we covered variables, data types, basic operations. Now, very cool thing about the input and output. So we'll uncomment this. So input is a function which takes input from the user. When you run the code, it will keep waiting, and whatever the message you write here, it will display that message and keep waiting for you to and input you type whatever you want to write and hit enter, and it will whatever you write here would be assigned to this name variable, and by default the the name variable is reading the input from the user, so it comes in the string format. Whatever you write on the terminal comes in the string format. So it doesn't matter if you write, let's say, even like number like 25. 25 will also come as a string format. All right, so let me execute this code. So I run this code and it's showing me this message, enter your name. My name is Govind. Hello Govind, what's your age? So for, let's say if I input my age, so it's an integer number, right? But if I enter like my age 25, 25 would go as a string to this. So that's why I had to convert it to integer number. Yeah. So after this, the data type would be converted to integer. So my age will be integer. Enter age 25. So it's just printed my message. I will be 26 next year. All right. So this is all about input and output. Now about the conditional statements. Let's say I wrote these three conditions, like for if my age is less than 18, then print you are a minor, and also like you can write anything in that indentation, like if that particular condition is correct, then all those set of lines that you write with the aligned indentation will be executed together. So print you are a minor and you will be adult in 18 minus this age year. So it will show that message. And if my age is equal to 18, then it will print you just became an adult. Else it will print you are an adult. So if my age is more than 18, then it would print it is that I'm an adult. Okay, so let me try. I put, let's say, 12 here, and let me run this. So you are a minor and you will be adult in 6 years. Let's say I put 18. So this condition would be correct and this print statement will be executed. So let me run this. So you just became an adult. Return this, right? And let's say if I put anything bigger than 18, it's a 20. So it should print this last line. You are an adult. Yes, it printed this line. You are an adult. All right. So this is a very good hands-on for you to get familiar with the basics of Python. And now I have a very good exercise for you. Let me share the other screen. So for the exercise, you have to make a very simple calculator where you ask user to enter two numbers and make sure like when the user enter two numbers that will come in the string format. So you have to convert to the correct data type that we learned before. So you ask users to input two numbers and then ask for the operation, plus minus, division, subtraction, anything, multiplication, right? You ask for the operation and then perform operation on the two numbers and then display the result. I added one trick here. You have to handle the division by zero. Anything divided by zero gives an error, so you have to handle the division by zero. I think this would be very good exercise for you to get familiar with input output, conditional statements, data types. And if you have any questions, please let me know. You can post your code to the instructor or directly in the comments. All right. All the best. I hope you learned something here. Thank you so much for paying your attention. I wish you good luck.